Imagine an entire city wiped off the map by an underground fire that's still burning 6 decades later. Or a metropolis so advanced for its time that it rivaled London, only to disappear without a trace. What about an island so densely populated that people lived in concrete towers stacked like a dystopian maze, only for it to be abandoned overnight? History is filled with civilizations that rose to power, only to be swallowed by time, disaster, or pure mystery. Some vanished due to nature's wrath, others because of war, and a few? Well, no one really knows. Welcome to World Decoded, and today we're diving into the cities time forgot. Pompeii, Italy, a city buried in time. In 79 AD, Pompeii was a bustling Roman city near Naples, with around 20,000 people going about their daily lives. But when Mount Vesuvius erupted, it buried the entire city under volcanic ash within hours. People were frozen in time, their final moments preserved in the hardened layers of ash. For centuries, Pompeii remained forgotten until its rediscovery in the 18th century. What archaeologists found was astonishing. Perfectly preserved homes, frescoes, and even human bodies, their expressions frozen in terror. Walking through Pompeii today feels like stepping into a time capsule. Shops, bakeries, and grand villas still tell stories of a lost civilization. Recent excavations have unearthed new homes, political graffiti, and even an ancient fast food stall, proving that Pompeii was a lively city until its last moments. Advanced scanning technology has also detected more structures buried beneath the ash, hinting that there's still much more to uncover. But despite its preservation, the ruins face threats from climate change and erosion, making conservation efforts more critical than ever. Hashima Island, Japan, the ghost island of industry. Once one of the most densely populated places on Earth, Hashima Island, or Gunkanjima, which means Battleship Island, was a booming coal mining hub owned by Mitsubishi. Thousands of workers lived in cramped concrete apartment blocks as Japan's industrial economy soared. But as Japan shifted from coal to petroleum in the 1970s, the mines shut down almost overnight, and Hashima was abandoned. Left to decay, its buildings collapsed, and nature slowly reclaimed the land. Today, Hashima looks like a post-apocalyptic nightmare, with crumbling structures and an eerie silence hanging over its empty streets. Despite its status as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, its history remains controversial. During World War II, forced laborers from Korea and China were subjected to harsh conditions in the mines, making its past as dark as its abandoned skyline. Guided tours allow visitors to see select areas, but most of the island remains too dangerous to explore. Drone surveys have provided stunning glimpses into its forgotten interiors, revealing more about the lives of those who once called it home. Pripyat, Ukraine, the ghost of Chernobyl. Pripyat was once a thriving Soviet city, built in 1970 to house workers of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. With nearly 50,000 residents, it had modern amenities, schools, hospitals, and even an amusement park set to open in May 1986. But everything changed on April 26, 1986, when reactor number 4 exploded, releasing deadly radiation into the air. The evacuation of Pripyat began 36 hours later. Residents were told they'd be back in a few days, but they never returned. Now, the city remains frozen in time. Homes stand abandoned, classrooms still contain books, and the rusting Ferris wheel in the amusement park has become an eerie symbol of the disaster. The Chernobyl exclusion zone remains one of the most radioactive places on Earth, yet ironically, wildlife has flourished in the absence of human activity. Wolves, lynxes, and even rare Przewalski's horses now roam freely, adapting to an environment once thought uninhabitable. Today, Pripyat is a chilling tourist attraction and a stark reminder of the dangers of nuclear energy gone wrong. Herculaneum, Italy, the lesser-known victim of Vesuvius. While Pompeii gets most of the attention, the nearby town of Herculaneum suffered an even more horrific fate when Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD. Instead of being buried in ash, it was hit by a pyroclastic surge, a wave of superheated gas and volcanic debris that instantly vaporized everything in its path. But this same process preserved Herculaneum's wooden structures, furniture, and even food. Archaeologists have uncovered incredibly detailed mosaics, wooden doors, and even scrolls from an ancient library. These scrolls, known as the Herculaneum papyri, are being analyzed using advanced imaging techniques, and they might contain lost works of ancient literature and philosophy. Despite its remarkable state of preservation, Herculaneum remains overshadowed by Pompeii. But ongoing excavations continue to unearth incredible artifacts, painting a vivid picture of Roman life. However, modern exposure to air and climate conditions threatens these relics, making their preservation an ongoing challenge. Teotihuacan, Mexico, the mysterious abandonment. Teotihuacan, located near modern-day Mexico City, was once one of the most influential pre-Columbian cities in the Americas. Established around 100 AD, it became a sprawling metropolis with over 100,000 inhabitants. Its grand pyramids, the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon, still stand as testaments to its architectural genius. But by 750 AD, Teotihuacan was mysteriously abandoned. No written records explain why, leaving historians to speculate. Some believe climate change and drought played a role, while others suspect internal rebellion or invasion. Recent excavations have uncovered hidden underground tunnels filled with artifacts and traces of liquid mercury beneath the Pyramid of the Moon, suggesting they may have been used for religious or royal rituals. Evidence of large-scale fires hints at possible social unrest before the city's decline. Today, Teotihuacan remains a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a major tourist attraction, but much of its history is still a mystery waiting to be solved. Ani, Turkey, the city of 1,000 churches. Ani, which was once a flourishing medieval Armenian capital, was a beacon of culture, commerce, and religion in the 10th and 11th centuries. Strategically positioned along the Silk Road, the city was home to over 100,000 residents and boasted magnificent churches, palaces, and fortifications that showcased Armenian architectural brilliance. However, its prosperity was short-lived due to repeated invasions by Byzantines, Seljuks, Mongols, and Ottomans. Each wave of conquest led to destruction, weakening Ani's infrastructure and economy. Natural disasters, including earthquakes, further contributed to its downfall, and by the 18th century, Ani was completely abandoned. Today, Ani lies in ruins along the Turkish-Armenian border, limiting access for researchers. However, restoration efforts have begun, and archaeologists have discovered underground chambers, hidden passageways, and remnants of advanced water systems. While some churches have been stabilized, much of the city remains vulnerable to erosion. With new technologies like satellite imaging revealing more of its hidden past, Ani continues to captivate historians as one of the most hauntingly beautiful lost cities in the world. Centralia, USA, the town that's still burning. Centralia in Pennsylvania was a thriving coal mining town until an underground fire ignited beneath it in 1962. What started as a small landfill fire spread into abandoned coal mines, creating a relentless inferno that released toxic gases and caused the ground to crack and collapse. Efforts to extinguish the fire failed, and as dangerous sinkholes formed, the government ordered an evacuation. By the 1990s, nearly all residents had left, leaving behind a ghost town with crumbling streets and eerie, smoke-filled landscapes. Despite being largely deserted, a handful of people still live in Centralia, refusing to leave despite the risks. The fire is expected to burn for another 250 years, making any reclamation efforts impossible. Over the years, Centralia has gained cult status, inspiring the horror film Silent Hill and attracting urban explorers. Recent geological studies indicate that the fire has shifted in unpredictable ways, and monitoring efforts continue to track its movement. With nature slowly reclaiming the town, Centralia remains one of the most haunting examples of human and environmental miscalculation. Time has a way of erasing even the greatest civilizations, turning once thriving cities into eerie shadows of their past. But one thing is certain, history never truly disappears. It just waits to be rediscovered. Which of these lost cities fascinated you the most? Do you think there are more hidden ruins out there, just waiting to be uncovered? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history's forgotten places, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to World Decoded for more incredible stories from the past. Until next time, stay curious.